Look at these mountains. Aren't they beautiful? I personally took these photos on a recent ski trip that I took out to Montana, which I'm so sorry is why I've been so late in posting. But as we look at these mountains, the real question becomes, are they the product of billions of years of mindless buildup of minerals and atoms? Or are they the careful sculpting of a creator with thought and purpose and design? Today, we're going to be talking about rocks because apparently you all weren't bored enough last time with my last video. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And welcome back to another episode of Hard Questions with Elena. I'm really excited to be back with you guys after taking a little break. I want to apologize for my delay in posting videos. I was on a trip recently and it just took me longer to upload than I thought. But I am back and I am really excited for this next topic to bring to you guys. Actually, it's pretty much a continuation of what I was talking about in my last video about radioactive decay and dating the Earth. After posting my last video, I received some feedback from you guys, just questioning what I was talking about. After receiving some comments, I realized that maybe I should dive a little bit deeper into this topic of radioactive decay dating and clear up any misconceptions that I might have communicated in my last video. So with that being said, let's jump into it. So what I presented to you guys in my last video was a very oversimplified version of radioactive decay. Because the truth is, I didn't even fully understand it myself, and I probably still don't. But never let that stop you from trying to dig deeper or trying to understand further or questioning what you know. I actually went to my science teacher after posting my last video to learn more about this process, and I found out some really interesting things that I want to share with you guys. For example, something that I didn't know was that atoms can decay by ejecting all sorts of different particles, not just neutrons. They can decay by ejecting alpha particles, beta particles, gamma rays. When an atom decays by ejecting neutrons, it's called nuclear fission. This is what I was talking about in my last video. This type of radioactive decay is actually very rare and only occurs with heavier elements. One of these elements would be uranium-235. Although uranium normally decays by ejecting alpha particles, it can also participate in nuclear fission. This is the example I used in my last video to kind of teach radioactive decay to you guys, of uranium-235 decaying into lead-207. In one of the comments of my video, I received a comment saying that this dating method is very reliable because lead only exists as a product of radioactive decay. In other words, they were saying that there could have been no inheritance, one of the assumptions that I was talking about last time, because lead only exists coming from uranium. It does not exist on its own. This is correct. However, my problems with the dating method still remain valid. I never said specifically that uranium to lead decay experienced inheritance. I meant more to point out broader problems with the whole process. However, uranium to lead decay does still entertain the other two assumptions I talked about, namely that the rate of radioactive decay has been consistent throughout all of history, and that there was no contamination or already decayed lead particles from other rocks added into the rock being tested. We have no way of proving that these assumptions didn't happen, and thus the dating method is not completely sound. One other thing to consider, if you're coming to this from a creationist point of view, is that the world was already created mature. Think about it. Could rocks have been created with lead already inside of them in the same way that men were created as grown adults? I know it doesn't hold any weight to you if you're not a creationist, but it is something to consider. If you guys get anything out of this video, I want you to see that it's important to keep trying to understand why we believe what we believe. I know that I don't understand half of the science in the world pertaining to dating the Earth, and I'm not claiming to, but I am advocating to keep trying to understand things for yourself. Guys, if we are going to base our views about God, eternity, purpose, how and why we got to this earth, all on what scientists are telling us, then we should be willing to double check their reasoning and try to understand things for ourselves, even if it's only at the surface level. We cannot base our entire worldviews on trusting that someone higher up, smarter, with a PhD has done their research right. I'm not saying that the textbooks are always wrong, but wouldn't you want to know if they were? Because let's face it, what we believe about evolution, the age of the earth, the Big Bang, ultimately determine our views about morality and God and eternity. Don't become an old earth evolutionist simply because everyone else is telling you that's true. Don't become a young earth creationist simply because your parents want you to. You've got to know for yourself. I know. Do you? Well, guys, that pretty much wraps up another episode of Hard Questions with Elaina. Thank you so much for coming back and listening to this one. I love being here with you guys. Please remember that you guys can write me an email. My email address is hardquestions.withelaina@gmail.com right here, or I'll link it below in the description box as well. I love to hear your comments, your questions, your arguments, whatever you're thinking about. Drop me an email, or you can comment it down below and I might feature it on a future video. Just love talking to you guys, hearing your thoughts. That's great. Also remember that you can follow me on Instagram. I'll put a link below to my Instagram account and you can see what's going on with me over there. Also, if you would be so kind as to hit the like button down below and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. I'll see you guys soon. Super excited for next time. Bye. Have a great week.